This week's pattern is simple and ugly. The tools you already trust are becoming the intrusion path. Your SharePoint server, your coding assistant, your inbox-reading AI agent, the repo you cloned, the command a user was tricked into pasting. The breach path is starting to look normal on purpose. This is the Exploit HQ Weekly Vulnerability Review for 2026, Week 29. On the agenda, SharePoint under active attack, developer trust collapse, Cursor plus forged trust agents, MemGhost and persistent AI memory poisoning, ACR Stealer ClickFix JPEG chain. Active-exploitation beat theory. SharePoint had official CISA active-exploitation language. ACR Stealer had Microsoft documented observed intrusion chains. Trusted workflow betrayal dominated the week. Repositories, inbox agents, coding agents, and normal paste and run behavior all became attack surfaces. Immediate defender action exists now. Patch, restrict trust boundaries, isolate risky workflows, disable unsafe auth flows, and retrain users on hostile prompts. The pattern is broader than one product. The week's real story is not one bug. It is that everyday operator trust is being converted into code execution, persistence, or data theft. CISA states it is aware of active exploitation of CVE 2026-32201, CVE 2026-45659, and CVE 2026-56164 against on-premises SharePoint server instances. Affected scope is all supported on-prem SharePoint server versions, Subscription Edition, 2019 and 2016. The chain enables unauthorized access, remote code execution, theft of IIS machine keys, and post-exploitation persistence malware deployment. CVE 2026-55040 and CVE 2026-58644 are risk-bearing but not yet known exploited. Keep them separate from the actively exploited set. This matters because of official active exploitation confirmation, broad enterprise blast radius, and immediate patch hardening urgency. Patch supported on-prem SharePoint server immediately. Enable AMSI integration and use full mode for request body scan where feasible. Hunt for anomalous SharePoint worker activity, machine key access, suspicious requests, and web shell behavior before rotating IIS machine keys. Next, developer trust collapse, Cursor plus forged trust agents. MindGuard says that if a repository contains a malicious Git exe at the project root, Cursor on Windows can execute it automatically with no prompt or warning. Cursor's own response says the practical risk is Windows only and tied to opening a repo or directory that already contains a malicious executable named exactly Git exe in the project root. No primary source fixed version or formal patch advisory was recovered in the verified stack used this week. The paper says researchers found vulnerabilities in Claude Code, Codex, Gemini CLI, Claude in Chrome, Anti-Gravity, and Nano Browser. The root problem is that current agents do not isolate trusted data from untrusted data. The coding agent RCE path is narrower than hype language. A forged maintainer-like context can trick the agent into executing malicious commands if the user approves what appears routine. Researchers reported the issues to vendors including Anthropic, OpenAI, and Google, with public acknowledgement noted in the source stack. This matters because it turns a normal developer action into silent code execution and hits a high-value audience, developers and engineering teams. It also matters because of novelty, named mainstream tools, and a defender lesson bigger than one vendor, trust boundary failure inside agent context. Do not open untrusted repositories in Cursor on Windows without restricted mode or sandboxing. Use workspace trust and managed Windows execution controls. Treat repo comments, README content, tool output, and web content as untrusted agent input. Keep coding assistance away from host-sensitive files, secrets, and broad execution rights. Next, MemGhost and persistent AI memory poisoning. The paper studies stealth memory injection, where a single email payload induces an inbox-reading agent to write poisoned memory that affects future behavior. The paper introduces a 108-case benchmark and reports 56 held-out test cases. Reported end-to-end success rates are 87.5% on OpenClaw with GPT-5.4 and 71.4% on Claude Code SDK with Sonnet 4.6. The paper says mailbox APIs such as Gmail, Microsoft Graph, and IMAP support the delivery model. Upstream mail authenticity controls are not enough. Defenses need provenance tagging, user confirmation for sensitive memory rights, content memory separation, and audit logging. This matters because the research is exact, quantified, and shows persistence rather than one-off hallucination. Add memory provenance tagging. Require user confirmation for sensitive memory rights. Separate content ingestion from durable memory rights. Log memory adoption events and investigate sudden behavioral drift in inbox reading agents. Next, ACR Stealer ClickFix JPEG chain. Microsoft says that from late April 2026 to mid-June 2026, it observed increased ACR Stealer activity across customer environments. Both campaigns used ClickFix lures to steal browser credentials, authentication tokens, and sensitive documents. The second campaign used an MSHTA-initiated PowerShell chain with steganographic payload delivery and execution, almost entirely in memory. The chain retrieves a JPEG image, extracts embedded payload content from image pixels, decrypts and decompresses it, and executes it in memory. Targeted data includes browser credentials, session tokens, PDFs, Microsoft 365 documents, OneDrive, and SharePoint sync data. This matters because Microsoft observed the chain in customer environments, and the user trigger is brutally clear. One pasted command starts the theft. Train users that ClickFix and fake verification prompts are malicious by default. Restrict PowerShell, MSHTA, exe, runlul32, exe, and similar living-off-the-land execution chains from untrusted paths. Hunt for suspicious scheduled tasks, PowerShell history clearing, MSHTA web DAV behavior, and browser database access. More info and resources on the description and pinned comment. This is the Exploit HQ. Verify first, defend next.